Hey guys, welcome to another episode of For the Love of Lily. I am super excited to share this episode with y'all today because I want to really focus on self-love when it comes to being in a relationship. I know that this is going to be a very touchy, interesting video, mainly because it's hard when you have to put yourself on display, and especially when it comes to love. Now, self-love is something that so many of us lack and we don't even know. You know, when it comes to self-love, it's a love that we have to inquire within ourselves to love and accept each and every part of who we are. And if we don't take the necessary steps to make our lives better. So first and foremost, do you love yourself? Can you honestly answer that question? I'm just wondering, because I know when it comes to myself personally, it took a minute to be real and to be transparent, because now at this stage in my life, I love me from the inside out, from the flaws to the flaws. I love it all. But it's also very important that you make sure that you understand your love for yourself and where it actually stems from. So first and foremost, self-love starts from when you're a child, from the love that you received from your loved ones and or friends. Friends can also be a part of the love process, but usually it starts with your family. Everyone's experience of love is different. Unfortunately, you know, especially when it comes to people who have been hurt, most of the time they continue that hurt, not even purposely. You know, hurt happens and everyone heals from it differently and or never heals from it at all and wants their child to experience the same issues that they had themselves. Why is that? I don't know. I don't understand it. You know, I feel like love is so huge, and us loving each other is way more important than anything else. Now, someone who has been abused in their life or just experienced hurt, it could be the trauma of watching your parent get abused. It will trigger you in a different way, and it will have you looking at life differently. For some people, they go with the notion of, oh, well, getting hurt is something normal. So if I'm with a partner that hurts me, it's okay because that's what I saw. Others look at it completely different. I saw XYZ growing up, so therefore I do not want that to be a part of my life. All of that, honestly, is truly a part of self-love. Mainly because you're gonna learn yourself what you consider to be love. Everyone's definition of self-love is different. But our goal is to make sure that our definition of self-love is truly, truly how we feel. Love is a feeling. It is a great feeling when you understand your love. It can also be a bad feeling when you don't understand your love. I will share my own personal example. So when I grew up, I had so much love around me. I cannot say I didn't. I had all my family members in my life to a certain extent, and I was grateful for each and every one of them. My mother has bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and depression. So for me, my definition of love growing up was a little different. I knew that my parents, and I still know that my parents love me, period. I don't have to worry about that. But I think my understanding of love is different than other parents, or excuse me, than other children that I grew up around. What I thought was normal, someone else didn't. But my definition of self-love was definitely different. So for me, my dad worked so hard. Honestly, y'all, he still worked real hard. I am 30 plus years old. 30 plus. I am 34 years old, and my dad still works extremely hard. My mom still suffers from the same ailments from when I was younger, but it's more in control, it's more sustainable. So we're able to handle the situation better than when I was a child. So when it came to my personal self-love, I knew that my mom loved me regardless of how she treated me or things that she said, because I knew from the hugs that she gave, from the conversations that we had, she would always tell me, I love you. And I'll be like, I love you too, Mom. You know, that will be one day, and the next day can be completely different. It could be, I hate you. But for me, I knew my mom didn't hate me. I just knew that she was going through something at that time. But I never took it literally. But some children would. I never did, because I understood what my mom was going through, if that makes sense. My dad and my aunts, love you guys beyond words, helped me to understand what was happening in my life when I had no idea. So my definition of self-love was, even when, for me, even when I didn't understand it, I knew that my mom still loved me. Or even though my dad worked multiple jobs, worked over 16 hours a day, I knew that he loved me. So the initial self-love that I had was tough. And I mean tough, like, don't take everything that your mother takes to your heart, because you know that she loves you. Like, that was my initial definition of self-love, is that I know what love is. I might not experience it all the time, but I know exactly what it's supposed to be. Now let's fast forward to my high school years, when I got into my first real relationship. My self-definition of self-love was tested, because I lost the definition of what self-love was. I was so focused on making sure that my partner experienced love, because he shared with me that he didn't understand what love was. So the definition of self-love for myself changed, because it was no longer making sure that I loved myself. It was making sure that I loved someone else, because they didn't experience the love that I experienced. That's definitely not the way to go into it. You have to love yourself, understand yourself. And if you're with someone who doesn't understand self-love, you have to help them go on that journey. Or honestly, you could just pray for them. Praying works miracles. Praying is so important. You can pray for your significant other to be able to love themselves. But the one thing that I want you to remember, and even for myself, because I still do this to this day, because now that I have children, I have to remember that I have to self-love myself, but usually I just put my kids first. So self-love can definitely be depicted in different areas. But right now, we're focusing on self-love in the relationship. So you can't just give off love and give off love to someone who doesn't have all that love within them, because you will lose your own self-love. Realizing that you are important. Your time is important for yourself. You always have to make time for you. That is a part of self-love. If it's just going for a walk or reading a book, creating something, designing something, speaking to someone who makes you smile, or speaking to a loved one and just getting certain things off of your chest. I've noticed now in my marriage, and even when we started our relationship, I found my self-love. And I had lost it because I thought that I didn't need to love myself. Sometimes when you're in certain relationships, you lose yourself in it, you know? But it's important for you to find yourself again. You are so important. And honestly, you can't function if you don't have your own love there for yourself. A toughie, but a goodie. If it's something about yourself that you don't like maybe you have gained some weight,
do what you need to do to help yourself become more healthy.
Self-care is a part of self-love. It's so many entities to it, but just know that you're worth it. The better that you are, the better that you'll be in your relationship. You're going to encourage them to be a better them. Just like I can use my own relationship as an example, especially when it comes to self-love. No relationship is perfect when you first get in it, right? You both have to adjust to each other, learn each other, grow from each other, right? So in our situation, that's what we had to go through. I would say my husband and I both suffered from a degree of suffering from self-love. It could be the outside world beating us up before we come home. It could be small little things that antagonize you that you don't need. But the best thing is that you find each other. Help each other grow from each other. Because once you have that happiness inside, the world will be able to see a reflection of you. And your spouse is going to be like, yes, that's my motivation. That's my better half. That's who I'm riding with. So guys, you have no idea how much this episode means to me, just because it's so important to love yourself. To truly love yourself from the inside out. And when you love yourself, you'll be able to love your spouse even more. If you had an experience with self-love, leave it below. If it's understanding self-love, if it was self-doubt, let's share. Let's grow together. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that bell. Ting! Don't forget to share. Until next time, guys.